Hey guys, it's time for build a Millennium Falcon again. Issue 93. This is the penultimate delivery. So we've got 93, 4, 5 and 6. So just one more lot to come after this. So looks like we're going to be doing some closing up of the top and bottom hulls and landing gear, stuff like that, and then some detail, and then we can start thinking about some doing some proper painting on it. So yeah, we're almost there. I must ask you to excuse me for my voice, and I'm going to be coughing a bit because just like last year I've got the winter lurgy again. But there we go. So apologies in advance. Okay, let's crack on and see what we're doing. Okay, so although we've got some detail in this issue, we're not going to be using it. We're going to be pretty much putting together a lot of the odd separate pieces that we've got already, including putting the cockpit together and finishing off the gun turret, and it looks like at the end of this issue we're going to have something that vaguely resembles the Millennium Falcon, all bar a few little holes and a few little gaps. So yeah, so it's sort of crunch time, really putting everything together. Now this might I might just go through and do it all, but equally I might hold back because pretty soon now we're going to have to start seriously thinking about painting. So I'll sort of show you how far I go and how I'm going to get through these next ones, and show you anything I'm going to do differently to the way the magazine suggests. Okay, so at this point I'm up to stage 93. This is the assembly. I've had to make we have to make some choices here. One is whether or not to have the glass in place. I'm still thinking I'm probably going to leave the glass in the gun turrets, but maybe not in the cockpit. But the cockpit's removable, and we've got two cockpits now, so we can have one with glass and one without. So my plan is, if that's really the case, the plan is I'm going to have one with and one without, so I can interchange them, which seems like a good idea to me. So we can have the best of both worlds. So that's the one with no glass in. Now, one of the things that's been worrying me over the last week is, well, the last couple of weeks since the last lot, is that the nacelles, sorry, Star Trek, the mandibles are drooping down considerably, and I was really worried that when this top piece is going to start to fit down, it's just not going to pull them up enough, but it looks like it is, thankfully. So at this stage I've just run the wiring through, and I've glued the glass in, I've glued the turret. By the way, when you glue the glass in, don't use the super glue because it'll just all haze up and start cracking and it'll get eaten away. So use that, which is the canopy glue. That's the best way to glue any of these transparencies in any of these models that we do. So in there. Now obviously the other problem with putting glass in now is it means we've got to mask it off if we're going to do any repainting, but I'm going to cross that bridge when I come to it. But yeah, so that's the glass in. But yeah, but do use that glue, which is the canopy glue, because it won't eat the clear plastic and sort of start hazing all up on you. So yeah, but I still think the cockpit looks better with no glass, although again I still might change that. And what I'm doing is I'm assembling it up to the point where it can't be unassembled. So at this point I'm not doing anything that I can't undo and change, because I still want to go back in there and add some more lighting, and I still want to do some different painting. I still might run some fibre optics up to the cockpit, I don't know. So I'm going to wait until all the bits arrive, as I've always said. May turn out to be an error, I don't know, but that's the plan at the moment. I'm just going to wait until everything arrives, and then I'll see what I can do. But I'm certainly not going to glue these side pieces in yet, because at this point I'm just starting to go around and tighten up the screws around here, which is going to hold the top to the bottom. I just want to see if it's going to pull those mandibles up. I hope it will. And that's it really. So I'm just working my way around. Just want to see it all pull up and pull these mandibles up and hope they're all going to be nice and square and straight, and then we'll see what's going to happen. I'm just wondering if I should have taken that off, but I think that can still be removed, so I think I'm okay there. Don't think that's told us to remove it yet. No, it does in a minute, so we're okay. So there we go. So that's it for now. I'll come back and show you a bit further along as we go. Okay, so that's all the screws in around the outside. As you can see, it has pulled up square, thank goodness. They are pretty much level all the way around, so quite pleased about that. The tricky ones, see if I can zoom in and show you. There's two right at the top. That one there, and can't see it, but there's one on the other side. So it's those two at the top of that piece in between the mandibles. They're the two tricky ones to get to, because you have to hold the screwdriver at quite an angle to get it in. But the good news is they are in, and it seems to have pulled it up about right. A little bit of a gap there that's bugging me, but on the whole, that's not too bad. So, yeah, there's a bit of movement in that, a bit more movement on that mandible than the other one. I don't know quite why, but anyway, we'll see what we're doing next. But it's coming on, we're getting there. But that's it. It's all, if I turn him round, hopefully it'll look fairly straight from the side view as well as from the front view. Yeah, it's not too bad actually. The camera's at a bit of an angle. Let me just reposition the camera, and then there we go. So yeah, so that all looks now pretty. The camera's still not quite right, not on the level here. There we go. Sorry, just moving the tripod. Some of you will be thinking, oh my god, thank goodness he's using a tripod for a change. So there we go. So it looks fairly much in line now, thankfully. So not too bad at all. But at this point I can still undo those screws and still remove the top half and get in there to redo any lighting, painting or any mods. Yeah, so far so good. Okay, so that's just a little lighting test. Rear engine on, we've got the lights in both gun compartments on. I think they need dimming down a little bit, they're a bit too bright personally. Those look okay, and that's not too bad. Could do with a bit more colour in there, so that's why I think I might go back in and do some different LEDs and fibre optics and things. It's all a bit mono-coloured, it's all just black and white. Should be some colour in there. And then underneath we should see, yes, it's quite bright again. I think the lighting in the gun turrets went, it either needs a resistor across the LED to dampen it down, or a slightly dirty fix, a dirty hack would be to just get a paintbrush in there and paint over the LED and just lower some of the amount of light that's going to come out. But as I predicted right from the start, and I'm glad I got so keen on doing all the light blocking, there is an appalling bit of light block or light leak pretty much where I said there'd always be one. That's going to need a bit of tape or a bit of styrene inside. It's the gap. That's not good enough by any stretch of the imagination, and believe me, that's as tight together as it'll go. It will not go any tighter, so it's all going to have to come undone, and I think put a strip of styrene or plastic or even tape along the inside of this seam from the inside, maybe a bit of aluminium tape or something. But that light block needs sorting. That light leak needs sorting, I should say. Engine looks great. As far as the rest of it's concerned, it's all pretty good, but it's pretty much the bits that I thought from the beginning may not be so good aren't so good. It's exactly that. There you go. We'll fix it, we'll make it better. But yeah, you see that's just not acceptable. That for a £900 kit, that is not acceptable. And I bet they leave no instructions at all in the magazine about fixing that bit. So if they do, then I'll apologise. But I think we're going to have to fix that ourselves, folks. That one. And in case you're thinking it doesn't look too bad, wait until I do that. Sorry about sniffing, I've still got a terrible cold. That's why it needs sorting. It's just not good enough. In fact, we can almost see in there down the corridor. It doesn't fit very well together, so that will certainly have to come apart. So if you haven't got to this stage yet, you might want to think about doing that before you build it all up and have to take it apart again. So like I say, I've not taken mine past the point of no return, so I can still undo the top section and get back in there and change that, and it does, in my opinion, need changing quite badly. But other than that, pretty good. You might want to dull that light down there a little bit, and consequently the one up underneath, it's just too bright. It's just not realistic. So those, on the other hand, want to be bright. They're supposed to be bright, and it needs all the red LEDs fitting as well. There's some more light. Oh no, I think that leak will be all right once the side panels are in place. But so there we go. Anyway, I'll crack on with the next bit and see what we're up to next. Okay, so this is the end of issue 93. That's all the assembly done, and this is what we have. So basically, the last thing was to take this panel off and mount the battery back inside. So at least now we know there's a nice easy way of getting to the battery. And what's even better actually is it means, although there's a power socket for this, which I complained about many weeks ago because I said, well, it's silly putting it on that side because that's the size most of us display the Falcon from that side, not from that side. So it would have been better to hide the power lead down here somewhere. They've actually put it on that side, so it would be obvious. But because it takes a battery box as well, you don't actually have to use it, so that's not too bad. If I was going to have it plugged in all the time, I'd probably relocate that to the other side. But that's it. It's looking fairly straight. Don't think it's too crooked. There's a little bit of tiny droop on those mandibles, but it all pulls up nicely once you get it all tightened in together. It's just those screws in the middle were kind of hard to get to, but that gives you an idea. Obviously we need some landing gear, yeah, and we need to put the side pieces on, but I'm not gluing those on because I haven't finished inside. I intend to go back in later on, but what we can do is we cheat a little bit and see what it looks like ahead of time. Oops, that shouldn't be on there. Something sticking to the magnets. There we go. Everything's sticking to the magnets. So, right, so that's gonna presumably fit something like that. It's not sitting in right. I'll have to have a little play with that, but it gives you a bit of a better idea. Hold on, I'll just turn the camera off and get that fixed properly. That rear engine piece is just sitting on top at the moment. It's not fitting properly, so I'll do that later, but I'll just put that front piece on and the antenna, the radar dish. So yeah, we're almost there, folks.